on recorded talk. I couldn't visit. I'm still to see the recordings of MP.
Yes, so I think this is a good start that Mahavir has made.
Good evening, Dr. Akhori.
Hello, very good evening.
Raju, where are you? Show the video.
Raju can't be seen. I'm not even sure. Mahavir, you are asking, where is Raju?
Where is Raju?
वो छुप गया कहीं वो Raju sir, people want to see your face.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, hi Raju.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
You are looking different, Raju.
Yes, I have put on a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
Little bit of weight.
Sir, should we wait for a minute or so, or with your permission, then we can?
Oh, God, okay, don't hide first.
कर दो.
So, TV sir, we are waiting for your go ahead.
You whenever you say I'm in at your service, in your hands. So should we start then?
Okay, Tusharika, over to you.
Namaskar and good evening, everyone. I'm Tusharika Singh, and a very warm welcome to all of you for joining us today for Unwinding Life with Professor Dr. TV Rao sir, Anecdote with Dr. Uday Parekh. Sadar Pranam sir, TV Rao sir. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and taking time out from your busy schedule. We are very well aware about your recent visit to Ranchi, and it truly means a lot, sir. So, my dear friends, my seniors, today introducing Professor Rao is perhaps the most difficult part of today's webinar. And honestly, when so many eminent leaders, professionals, and practitioners are present here, I feel I'm far too small a person to speak about Sir's contribution. I'm sure each one of you has your own story, your own learning, and your own experience with him. Today's session becomes even more special because it celebrates the remarkable friendship of 43 years of TV Rao sir and late Dr. Uday Parekh sir. Intellectual partnership and shared vision of two legendary figures of Indian HRD. So I'm sure not only for me, for all, both are not only pioneers of HRD, they are the eras in themselves. Dr. Rao and Dr. Parekh shared an extraordinary association spanning over 4 decades, beginning at IIM Ahmedabad, where they laid the foundation of the HRD movement in India. And over the last 5 decades, Sir has played a pivotal role in shaping HRD through his teaching, thought leadership, and institution building efforts. Institutions such as NHRDN, AHRD, and the Center for HRD at XLRI, the Ravi Mathai Center initiatives, and TVRLS stand as enduring testimonies to his vision of developing people and organizations. An accomplished author and researcher, Sir has contributed through more than 50 books and several hundreds of scholarly articles. Though Dr. Uday Parekh sir left us in 2010, but his presence continues to be felt through the work, institutions, and values he created. And one of the most inspiring aspects of Dr. Rao sir's journey is the way he continues to cherish and acknowledge Dr. Parekh sir's contribution. It reflects a rare bond of friendship, respect, and intellectual partnership that transcends time and continues to inspire all of us. I just want to mention here, like while reading Dr. Rao's autobiography, one line stayed with me. Sir writes, giving is the best way of getting. And this touched me and my dear friend Jasu as well. And when we look at his life's journey,
Link भेज दें बेटा.
we realize that he has lived this philosophy every single day. This is why Sir is not only respected, he is deeply, deeply loved. Please join me in extending a heartfelt welcome to the one and only Professor Dr. TV Rao, sir. Thank you, all of you. Sir, over to you.
Thank you. I really don't know where to begin. Just before I came here, we were outside and I was asking my wife, Jaya, where do you think I should begin? Especially on Uday Parekh. She said from the beginning. Beginning is 1966 when I heard the name of Dr. Uday Parekh. He was not there in Hyderabad. I was in Hyderabad, student of Osmania University. I was told that he was president of the Andhra Pradesh Psychological Association. And he left already for University of North Carolina, where he was teaching. And the next I heard at the end of the year was one of my seniors, one Kodandapani. We all went to see him off at Hyderabad airport because he was joining to do his PhD with Dr. Parekh in University of North Carolina. So we all went to give him a send-off. Dr. Parameshwaran was a good friend of Dr. Parekh. Shalini Bhogle, Harsha Bhogle's mother, used to work with Dr. Parekh on innovations in, I think whatever field it was. He was one of the... Yeah. That is when we saw him off, I think the idea got into my mind. If Kodandapani is going to meet Dr. Parekh, work with him or PhD, why don't I do my PhD with Dr. Parekh? That was the beginning. And then I asked Dr. Parameshwaran, he encouraged me to write to Dr. Parekh in my second year of master's in psychology. I wrote to Dr. Parekh. I was almost finishing my studies at Osmania. I topped the first year. Therefore, Dr. Parameshwaran was very clear that Dr. Parekh would take me. And then I got a surprising letter from Dr. Parekh saying that, look, I am coming back to India. Therefore, I cannot take you as my PhD student. In fact, I think I was quite motivated before that because the few months after Kodandapani went to work with Dr. Parekh, he wrote a letter to us. You know, those days letters used to take anywhere between 3 weeks to a month. There were no telephones. Even aerogram used to take such a long time. And there was a lot of gap between your writing and his writing and all that. That used to be the case. And incidentally, I was so ignorant. I have not seen the world at the time. And to me, Uday Parekh sounded like Farooq. And I thought he must be some interesting Muslim gentleman. When I first heard, that was my exposure to a name which later became a part of my life. It was very interesting. So he said, I'm returning back, therefore I can't take you as my PhD student, but I will write to a few people recommending your candidature. And one of the persons he wrote was Rensis Likert. And I used to correspond with Rensis Likert, and he used to encourage me to apply for it and go to the GRE exam and all those kind of things. But I got a job. I joined Andhra University. started the psychology department, psychology and parapsychology there. And then I got a letter from Dr. Parikh saying, I have come back to India. I have joined an institute called National Institute. And I have a job for you in case you are still keen to come and join me. I was keen because it got into my mind almost a year and a half back. Dr. Ramakrishna Rao, who was the head of psychology and parapsychology department in Andhra University, he was very keen that I should continue there. In fact, he started the department and got special equipment for me to do my PhD on subliminal perception. He got some special equipment from Germany to measure a tachistoscope. So I was to study the exposure of certain pictures and nonsense words to people for a fraction of a second, and then later sleep in the laboratory and see if I'm dreaming that. It never happened. I think it was a study of the dream, subliminal perception and dream. So I hardly worked for about 6 months when I got this letter from Dr. Parikh, and I went and told Dr. Ramakrishna Rao, look, this is some of the things that I wanted to do. Anyway, you already registered me for my PhD, but I would like to go back to, because this has been one of the things that I wanted to do with Dr. Parikh. You know the first comment of Dr. Ramakrishna Rao? He said, Venkatesh Rao, if you want to go, it's fine with me. But tell me, why do you want to work with a bibliography man? I think it's a very significant comment which stayed with me. A bibliography man. I'm saying this because Dr. Parikh was known for his work in creating bibliographies. I don't know how many of you know. He has written a series of books on Directory of Behavioral Science Research in India. Directory of Behavioral Science Research on India by people from other countries and so on. There are a whole series of them. These were all done at this SIET Institute, where Dr. Sauri, Dr. N.P. Singh, all of them work. And Dr. Chattopadhyay was the director of behavioral sciences at that point of time. And you know, when you work with somebody like Somnath and E.G. Parameshwaran, it gets into your mind that there can't be anything better than working with Dr. Parikh. So when Ramakrishna asked me bibliography man, it was a bit of an intrigue to me. But let me tell you, as I was thinking of this, I want to tell you something. What does this bibliography man mean? Imagine mid-60s. The telephone, there was no telephone. You can't do dial by any telephone. Anywhere you want to call, you have to go through an operator. You dial some number, 171, 189, whatever number, operator comes on to picture, then the operator asks you, should I book you an ordinary call? Ordinary call may take anywhere between 8 to 10 hours for you to get connected. Or I think at the time they called as a flash call, which costs you about 8 to 10 times. And even a call to, let us say, Delhi would cost you quite a lot of money. That was the time. So, and the information, if you want to read journals, you have to go to certain libraries and collect all information. That is the kind of a situation. So, it was in that kind of an era where journals were not available. They were available only in certain places. You have to make trips to, like in a place like Hyderabad, either you have to go to a place like SIT Institute or Osmania University. There were no central university in Hyderabad at the time. And same case with Delhi or Bombay and so on. Now imagine a person thinking that I must make all the researchers available at one place in the form of a directory. What is that thinking? In 1965, 66, if somebody thought, how is it different from what the inventor of Google thought several years later? So you can say Uday Parikh in those days, called as bibliography man, was actually a person who discovered an equivalent of Google. An equivalent of Google. That is the significance. We didn't realize that at the time. Now today you look at AI. What is AI? AI is nothing but machine intelligence, collecting all information that is available across the world, storing it in a central place, And AI only drags that information. You ask a question, it gives you. Now, Dr. Parikh's bibliography was classified in such a way, anything that you want to find out cross-cultural studies within India or across the world by Indian psychology, you go to a particular section, you get it. So 1960s, 60 years before, when Google was not there, when cell phones were not there, when information was available only in libraries, a person thought of putting all of them together and bring out a series of directories called Directories of Behavioral Sciences Research in India, on India, and things like that. So can you see how his mind works? I mean, I didn't realize at the time. At the time, there was no Google. You didn't think of it. Now that Google and AI have come, you start thinking, what a wonderful mind was this, Dr. Parikh. So obviously, when he offered me a job, he said that, look, I have a project on motivation training for mental health. That is studying the impact of classroom teacher behavior on student mental health. I met Uday in administrative staff college. He said, I'm coming to Hyderabad. If you want, you are most welcome. I can talk to you, and then I can give you this offer. So I met the two gentlemen in Administrative Staff College of India. It's in the month of December, 1968. And the second gentleman is Suresh Srivastava, who was a professor in IIM Calcutta, who is a famous organization development person. I'm sure most of you know, T Group trainer, one of those who was associated with ISAPS, but he is known quite a bit for his discoveries, latest discoveries later on positive thinking and things like that. Interestingly, after Suresh Srivastava met me, he also offered me a job. Dr. Parikh said, you come to Delhi. Srivastava said, you come to IIM Calcutta. I can straight offer you a academic associate job there. But of course, IIM Calcutta didn't mean anything to me. Neha National Institute of Health also didn't mean to me. To me, Dr. Parikh meant, I think it's a pleasure to working with him because I heard so much. Every time Somnath used to be full of praises. In fact, my master's dissertation was equivalent to a doctoral dissertation, which I think Somnath was responsible in getting me to read Rensis Rickard's New Patterns of Management book and study organizational climate and things like that. Then I joined Dr. Parikh in Delhi. He was a professor and head of the social science department. I joined as assistant research officer in motivation training for mental health. I left Andhra University, but one of the things I continued to do was for the remaining 3 months, the students were in the first year. From January, when I went to Dr. Parikh, till April, I was all the time sending notes for all the sessions that I have not taken to Andhra University people. I wanted every single individual student in Andhra University to not to feel that I have left them in the midway. I mean, this is the kind of commitment one always had to the students, and I remember each one of them even today. Like Mahavir, I remember your batch and your seniors. Andhra University students also I used to remember. Now, a few things I think the time is not enough to tell all the things. Neha in National Institute of Health Administration, where I was working as assistant research officer in an ICMR project, which our principal investigator was Dr. Parikh. And I had a good group of people to work with me. One, Dr. Prabha Ramalingaswamy, wife of Dr. Ramalingaswamy, who was the Director General of ICMR, later became the Director of All India Institute of Medical Sciences. And she was one of the research assistant research officers. Mohan Advani, who now lives in Udaipur. Balram Sharma, who is no more. And KG Agarwal later, who joined. These are all the people who were associated with us. We were doing this work. So that was the time I got married. 1969 January, I joined Nehai. 69 August, I got married. And I returned back to Delhi from, I was hardly there for 2 days for my marriage. I came, got married, and returned back to Delhi because I didn't want to take too much of a leave and so on. So when I went back, Dr. Parikh told me, look, the Neha has advertised for Assistant Professor of Education and Training. They wanted a master's in psychology and education, but with 3 years experience. I want to recommend you, although you are not qualified as for the requirements. So I said, I don't know why you are saying this to me. If I'm not qualified, they wouldn't even entertain the interview. He says, no, you give me one advantage I see in you is that you are a mathematics student. I did my BSc in mathematics, then went to psychology, then went to education. This is a little bit of unusual combination. They wouldn't get a science graduate with education and psychology. So I'll ask them to make an exception and treat you as a contact candidate. Now, this is a new term that I learned. Contact candidate means even if you do not meet the requirements of the advertisement, you can be called on the basis of some special kind of thing to. So I was invited as a contact candidate and I was interviewed. And then the next thing was I got the job as assistant professor. So within 9 months, I became assistant professor. And an assistant professor in medical field means it's a pretty high job, equivalent to the university, what they called as reader, or nowadays associate professor. I mean, they had assistant, associate was higher than a reader, and so on. I'm mentioning this because of a point that I want to make. So I was at a pretty big, not a fat salary. Those days, an assistant professor got 600 rupees basic. But that was a lot in those days. A lecturer got 400 rupees basic. So this is 600. A associate professor got 900 rupees basic. That is the kind of thing. So I became assistant professor. I was taken, I'm not anymore with Uday. So Uday was, Dr. Parikh was with the social sciences. I was in education and training. And my job was to set up the education and training department. So those 3 years where I was there in Nihai, only 7-8 months I was with Dr. Parikh, but I continued to, Dr. Parikh said, I'll make you a co-investigator. He was principal investigator, I became co-investigator to manage the ICMR project. And when he left for Udaipur University, I used to wonder, I mean, all that I know was Suresh Srivastava visited Nihai, he conducted a tea group. Then Sujit Bhattacharya came to Nihai. In fact, Sujit stayed with us at home, in our home. Then Somnath, of course, shifted from Hyderabad. Somnath also stayed for some time with us in Delhi. So our little house, happened to house many of them for short periods of time. And that is when I came to know ISAPs was not formed in those days. It's only, I think we were all struggling with applied behavioral science and things like that. But T group training was quite known. And we went through a couple of those labs in Nihai itself. And one of the things we noticed was when they conducted the T group training for Nihai, National Institute of Health Administration, Suresh, Sujit, Somnath, and Dr. Parikh, 4 of them trained all the faculty. And what I observed, the infights increased. This was an interesting lesson in Nihai. T group training in a company does not always need to increasing integration. It could lead to more divisions, could create other kind of problems and so on. In Nihai, we had this problem, and sometimes some of the doctors were very much against both Dr. Parikh and Somnath. They couldn't express anything to Dr. Parikh, but sometimes they would take it out on Somnath. So there was this kind of undercurrent in the National Institute of Health Administration. But we never bothered about this undercurrent. That was the time Abad came into our contact, and we were doing some interesting work with the Holy Family Hospital. We started a OD work and things like that. Now I can go on with these stories, but I wanted to mention this. One is what Dr. Parikh had done, meeting Dr. Amaling Swami in his, I always remember fondly his imported Italian Fiat number DLV 1699. That is a car which he used. Pushpa, do you remember that car number? I think it is DLV 1699. The car is I think it came to Udaipur also. Uday Parikh got it there and so on. So that is one thing. And later, I was told he and Prayag Mehta, both Dr. Parikh and Prayag Mehta were giving, they were doing a student laboratory in Mount Abu. I think that is where C.P. Joshi, Narendra Dixit, Rajendra Singhvi, a whole lot of student leaders from Udaipur University, I am told, they all were student leaders, they were mischievous fellows, and they did a training in Mount Abu that changed their lives. They went back and insisted on the Vice Chancellor to get Dr. Parikh to Udaipur and also start a psychology department. So we were all surprised when Dr. Parikh announced that I am leaving Neha and going to Udaipur as the director of School of Basic Sciences and Humanities and also to set up a psychology department. And he told me, if you like, I don't want to disturb you. You're already assistant professor here. As per the rules of the university, I don't think I can offer you anything closer to you. If you want, you are most welcome. It will be a great pleasure to start a new department of psychology. I didn't blink an eyelid. I said that it doesn't matter. I don't care about the position I have. I don't mind coming there as a lecturer. So from assistant professor, one level below, I went as a lecturer at the University of Udaipur School of Basic Science and Humanities to start the Department of Psychology. There, of course, Manohar Nadkarni, Manohar already came to Delhi. Manohar and I used to meet. And there used to be Dr. Ojha, Ojha, Somnath, Manohar Nadkarni, and there was one Pandit Patankar. All these people started a behavioral science center. And one of the things we did in Delhi itself is to start Indian behavioral science abstract. So that was the first issue. In fact, I remember one day Dr. Parikh telling me that I want to start this and I want to put every quarter one issue of all behavioral sciences that are going on abstracted and available to people. He just told this to me. I always tell the younger generation. Sometimes
कॉलेज गया 5 વાગે આયા 5 વાગે આવીને 6 વાગે હું મારા ડાન્સ ક્લાસમાં ગયા આવતા વર્ષથી 2 દિવસના અને હું બીજા ફિઝિયોથેરાપી સેન્ટર પર બી મેં જવાનું ચાલુ.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a warning that I'm talking too much? And therefore, I should stop now. Okay, you can tell me.
Sorry for the disturbance, sir. Please continue, sir.
Okay. I mentioned this to both Jessu and everyone that once I start, it becomes very difficult to stop me because the stories can go on and on. So what happened was we started the behavioral science abstract, and when Dr. Parikh told this to me, I told Dr. Parikh, this is a good idea. I want to do this. But how do I do this? He said, visit all the libraries. Go to each library, look at the journal, various social science, psychology, sociology journals, and keep on seeing what is relevant to India, because these are Indian behavioral science abstracts, and keep making a summary of it. So I got a letter from Dr. Parikh. He has written a letter to many of the libraries. I would visit NCERT library, IIT library, USIS library, Institute of Economic Growth Library, IIPA, Indian Institute of Public Administration Library, Shriram Center Library. So and that gave me an opportunity to travel around Delhi, visit many libraries, sit in the library, collect abstracts. Out of 250 abstracts, I made about 245. And the remaining 5 were done by other people. So the first issue was out. First thing Dr. Parikh had done was, when the issue was out, it was published by Dr. Ojha, Indian Behavioral Science Abstract. He made me associate editor. And this is something which I have learned from Dr. Parikh, which I'm sure I can contrast with many examples. I think keep giving credit to anyone who works hard and then who. So making an young fellow as an associate editor within 2 years of his career is something. And we continued that even when we went to Udaipur and so on. Later, he gave it to ICSSR. ICSSR converted into Indian Psychological Abstract. After a couple of years, we withdrew from it because it was put on stream. Now, these are all interesting contributions of Dr. Parikh. And all that I know is one fine morning, I think Dr. Parikh got fed up with the School of Basic Science and Humanities. There was an interesting incident where I think some of the student activists held him at gunpoint. That didn't disturb him, but the Vice Chancellor changed, and the new Vice Chancellor was not as supportive of whatever Dr. Parikh was doing. So I think Dr. Parikh got fed up, and I remember sitting in the director's bungalow one evening and Dr. Parikh calling up Ravi Mathai and saying, Ravi, you offered me 2-3 times a job at IIM Ahmedabad. Are you still open if I want to come to IIM? I don't know what Ravi said. Next day, Dr. Parikh said, I'm going to Ahmedabad. Will you also want to come with me? So normally, whenever Dr. Parikh went to Ahmedabad, I used to go in that same Italian Fiat. We used to drive, go with him to IIM, stay in the guest house, and I think by the time director changed, he got an offer. He left Udaipur. He joined IIM sometime in 1972. But I continued at Udaipur University. That is when I think I continued, because I had to get in touch with Mahavir Jain and teach his whole team. So I think he joined me. Dalpat Sarupriya, Mahavir, all of them, they were there. So that was the second batch of the psychology department where we did a lot of interesting things. I'll stop here up to IIM. Post IIM, I will talk later. Any questions you had, but this tells something about Uday. I'm already depicted a characteristic. One is Uday is very hardworking. He used to, as professor in head of social science department in Nehai, he would come to office early about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And when people said he's very hardworking, even much before the office opens, he is there. Then you as a research associate or anybody, you start thinking that if he comes at 7:30, I should be there 1 hour before him. So normally early in the morning, I used to get up and first thing I would do is I used to live very close to in Greater Kailash. Office was in E16 and R75. I was living in R17. After my marriage also, we continued there and shifted to east of Kailash. I would be in office at about 6:30. Always an hour before Dr. Parikh, just to beat. I mean, actually, if you really look at, we used to compete with each other in completing our work. Later, whenever we wrote books, Dr. Parikh used to be an early riser. He would get up early in the morning, but I'm used to get up, I go to sleep late. So if we decided we have to complete one chapter, I would do it, and then I can't sleep before I complete it. And I think Dr. Parikh knew that in the morning I will be passing on the chapter to him. So he will get up at 3:34 and complete his part of it. That is the way we collaborated, and that's how we were able to write together, do about 14 books. In Jaipur, when he met with, I think he had a severe accident and he was lying on the bed with some 5-10 kg weight tied to his leg, almost for about 1.5, 2 months. I went there and we sat together. We revised our designing HR systems and things like that. Hard work, sincere work, commitment, because we enjoyed. Dr. Parikh enjoyed, and anyone who worked with him would enjoy the work, because for sure when you work, you will always get the benefits. If nothing else, I think the work itself is fun and enjoyable. Any projects we worked on was very interesting. We did a lot of projects together. I'll stop here, and any quick questions, Jesu, and who else is?
Yeah. So
Jesu and Tusharika, you are anchoring. So you
Yeah.
tell me, you want to ask any questions? Because the story can go on and on. I'll require a full day to really complete the story. So go ahead, ask any questions. It's already
TV is not a
over.
question.
Yeah.
Is a query how this strong bond between TV and Uday established and still continuing. You are in the same. Uday is physically not with us, but you spiritually, physically, even still with Uday. What are the factors which we can learn from you with the strongest bond I have seen in the professional field and personal field?
Mahavir, I don't know what is the reason, but one thing I can say is that we thought alike. Our thoughts, I think there are many things on which we were very much alike. I think my own thinking, I can't say how much it is impacted by Dr. Parikh on the spiritual part of it, because Uday was always a self-proclaimed atheist. But while he said that, but I think he is a personification of being a good human being. This is what I learned in my regional college of education from the psychology professor. He also used to say, I am an atheist, I don't believe in God, but I believe in humanity. Dr. E.G. Parameshwaran used to, I think all the people who I got in touch with, I think are people who are with a high spiritual bent of mind, self-proclaimed atheists, but great human beings. I think this is somewhere I think I have, and it aligned with their own research work. Dr. Parikh's entire contribution of, if you look at extension motivation, is a very much of an Indian concept. He is nothing but built on helping other people, which he lived, I think, all his life. Compassionate. I mean, if those of you who know, even when he died, he wanted his body to be available for medical research and no ceremonies to be conducted and things like that. So I suppose we thought alike, and I loved some of the concepts. Some of the things I have not learned from Dr. Parikh, but I had strong learning at Osmania. I must credit both to E.G. Parameshwaran, Govardhan Reddy, and there are a lot of other people in the university, and of course, HCH Institute, Somnath Chattopadhyay. I think these are all the people who impacted my thought, my learning, my research orientation, and those, and they are very similar to Dr. Parikh. So if you say one secret, I don't know if it is a secret, we thought alike. When you think alike with the other person, your thoughts match. You can't expect anything better than that, except I think you keep collaborating, you start working. Barring that, I can't, I think our style of living and so on also were a very simple kind of a thing. And interestingly, I think I remember in Nihai, I always, most of the time, I used to have my breakfast at his house in E359, Greater Pailav. That's the house where Sushma, Surabhi, Anu, all of them live. That's where I used to go. E349 or 359, I forget this. There used to be a little garden. Then later at Udaipur, I think the Ramaji would always invite me and Jaya and to come home. Actually, we were living half the time in their house, having either lunch or dinner or anything like that. In the director's bungalow, there used to be a person by name Bishan Singh, who was a great cook. And of course, Ramaji herself would give us to taste all kinds of things. I'm sure you remember, and the wonderful picnics we used to have. And things. So, on many counts, I think our habits, our thinking, our way of living, they seem to be more or less similar. A simple kind of a thing, and respect for each other. I would think that is the only thing. And helping, I think that one thing that I'm not as good as Dr. Parikh in helping others, but he's certainly a great personification of somebody who can go out of way to do a number of things and so on. He didn't go out of way, let's say, in getting me to IIM, but the only small things you do, it makes a lot of difference. Like I think you would put in a word, I wanted to consider TV Rao for education group. Now he might say a word to Paul. He doesn't have to give my biodata. Then Paul would invite me. Otherwise, they would have thought of an Indian PhD to be recruited as a faculty in IIM Ahmedabad. But one word from somebody like him who is respected in himself is not a PhD from US, but he has established himself as the first Asian in NTL laboratories in 1958, 59 itself and so on. I don't know if that answers you, Mahavir. I think we thought alike. And in our writings also, it is more or less the same kind of a thing. We learn continuously. We learn from each other. We learn from other people. I think that is the thinking alike part of it. So I can't guarantee that I will give satisfactory answers to everything, but I myself don't know. I think we were very similar in our, and I also believe I don't say, I certainly am very closer to Dr. Parikh in terms of not believing in any great God, atheistic kind of thing. But having said that, Dr. Parikh is also highly spiritual, respect. When Dr. Parikh and Ramaji Dr. Parikh was working as a OD consultant for ICM sisters, very strong Catholics. And I must tell you, I also had influence of the Loyola College by the priests, Catholic priests. They mattered quite a bit in my life. When Dr. Parikh and others started working with MMS group of medical mission sisters, which Tony D'Souza, whom you all know, he is the administrator in Homely Family Hospital, he would tell you. First thing he told them is that, look, I'm an atheist. I'm not very sure if you want to have me as a OD consultant. He said that, look, we are not calling you to change our religion. If any, you may change. Good that you mentioned, we want you to do organization development work. So he said very clearly, states his values so that there is no. Having said that, he and Ramaji, I am told, would go to attend a mass with whatever ideology they have and sit with the sisters. So that is the respect you have for other people, for other religion. You don't really bother. Okay, you have your faith, you have your values, but the biggest value is respect for other human beings. Because all religions teach that every person is made in the image of God, all religions, irrespective of whatever you are. Okay, they teach that. And he practices that. I think every human being is like a God in the sense that, look, I may not believe in any religion, but I believe every human being is worth, I think, respecting. And that is the kind of thing. It's a strong kind of a thing. You can call modern day atheism or modern day spirituality, whatever you call it. Yeah. Next, any other question?
Yes,
Sorry.
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, again, interacting with you, it's a dream come true for me. So, taking this opportunity, so what is one belief you held strongly at the age of 30 that you no longer believe today?
I don't know. I think it is. I can't say there is anything that which have substantially changed. I think, if any, over a period of time, whatever beliefs I've had got much more stronger, and so on. So I can't say that I have changed any great belief. If I have changed any belief between 30 and now, it is faith in any single religion. I think at 30, I used to be very, I used to have very strong preferences for religion. Actually, not 30, in my 20s. That slowly got reduced by my 30s, and it has practically disappeared. For me, when I see it, go to a temple or a church or I have not visited mosques, I only pass through mosques. Malaysia, Indonesia, other places, we used to visit more out of our Dubai and other places, so just to pay respect and so on. I think I see this as a place where people come to have good thoughts, and hoping that they have left some good thoughts there. You only capture the spirit of these good thoughts. You go to any holy place, it is to capture something in the air, not because you believe in that there is a God, Rama is the only God, or Christ is the only God, or Allah is the only God. In fact, sometimes if I say I never understood why gods fight so much among themselves, never understood. Even today, I don't understand. And it is because it is the people who use the God and then fight among themselves. It's not gods. If there is a God, they would not fight. And for them, all of them are equal. They wouldn't distinguish you by saying you are a Hindu, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, and things like that. That way, Buddhism is very interesting kind of a thing because there is no God there. They only say that, look, everything will pass, current is the only reality, and so on. Interesting kind of thing. So if I have to answer that question, one thing that has changed, maybe I have become more convinced that it is ultimately we who create the gods and then who fight among themselves. And I think increasingly my understanding of the importance of power, and Manohar Natkani used to say, for many times, I said many times, I love what he used to say in our laboratories and everywhere. He says, TV, every human being wants to be significant. The need for significance is the most important thing. Now, that is something very interesting. Our triad used to talk of social development. I mean, all his theories. So in all these people, whatever work one has done, one starts picking up what suits your philosophy and what is the strong point of them. That's why I respect, I mean, every one of them, each one of them who have, I mean, since I work longer, I will talk of Dr. Parikh, but like people like Mahavir can tell you a lot about Dr. Prayas Mehta and other people and so on. So that is what I can't say that there is something which is substantially changed. Everything that I talk nowadays has its roots to what happened in my 20s and 30s. So it has only grown, it has not changed. I don't know if I get a different answer in course of time, I will get back to you, Prashari. This is what is changed.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Beautifully answered, sir. Thank you.
TV said there is another question
Yes, sir. Yes.
from Sanjeev. It's in the chat box, wherein he says that given Uday's vision and today's situations, do you think that things are moved satisfactorily? Where does it still needs improvement?
What is the question I'm trying to see? Can I see that? Given Uday's, is that the question you are referring to?
Yeah.
Uday's, I can't see it in my, let me see. Given Uday's vision in today's situations, do you think that things are moved satisfactorily? Where does it still need improvement? Okay. Now, I will not give my answer. I would give what Dr. Parikh would have given the answer. Okay. Because many times I think questions like this was asked before he died, and then I know similarly, and you would say, like on Gen Z, many people will complain about Gen Z. Arey, what is it, Gen Z? They have no commitment. They have, okay. Dr. Parikh would say, no, you look at them, they are all highly technology savvy, they're great people, and they are very bright people, and they are exposed to so much. So he'll look at the positive sides of Gen Z. Okay, and he will say they are all great. What has changed? Yes, what has changed is that we have highly talented people coming up. We are still to discover what is the best way to use them. We should learn to use them. That is the way I think Dr. Parikh would have responded. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And Dr. Parikh also would have said, but we need to think. We have to guide. What is the way we can guide and so on. So there are no answers. There are no clear-cut answers. Don't take a stand and then try to prove your stand is right. Always be open to change your stand and learn from them. So having said that, I think would I therefore tell a Gen Z, do whatever you like? I think you are the best judge. No, sorry, no, that's not true. If that is so, then why should MBA colleges insist on the curriculum, a particular type of curriculum, and tell them, why don't you make your own curriculum? Time pass, you have already joined IIM, that is good enough, and so on. No, sorry, there is a body of knowledge, there is a body of wisdom. I think we should, to the extent possible, pass it on. What is AI? What is AI doing? AI does not give you any new wisdom. It is only collecting the wisdom that has been gained over a period of time by searching whatever is available. It is a technology, it is a software that has been developed to capture from all parts of the world, which I think the human mind cannot do that. So that is what we would say. So there is a wisdom. If AI can guide, I would tell Gen Z, don't blindly go by AI. Certainly use AI to the extent possible, but do not sacrifice your wisdom and say AI is the only thing. It will happen to, if you do that, 1 year ago, the situation was different. Today we are wiser, but we are not today totally wiser. I was invited to give a address, a valedictory or address for the graduating students of one of the B schools. And when I went there, somebody started introducing me. Professor Rao has done his PhD from the University of California, and he went to later Harvard Business School, and he got later Rajiv Gandhi National Award. I said, you have invited a wrong TV Rao. I think there was some other TV Rao. I think I'm sorry. I think I am not the TV Rao you are mentioning. I never went to University of California. Now have I got a Rajiv Gandhi Award. I wish I got some of those. Now did I go to Harvard Business School? I visited them all right. So then the director of that institute found out that this was downloaded from ChatGPT. I don't know how they got all this wrong information. So, AI can give you all wrong information sometimes if you don't use your discretion. Okay. So, but today ChatGPT is a little cleverer. I think they will tell you if there is another TV Rao, please check. And okay. So I will tell Gen Z, use the technology, but don't give it upper hand over human being. You don't sacrifice your critical thinking. That is what Dr. Parikh would have said, and I think that is the way we respect the human being, but also respect technology, development, use them to your advantage. That's what we would say. Yes, so I hope that satisfies you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Gauri Saab, you want to say something?
Yeah, just TV. I got reminded of many things which I had experience about Uday.
Yeah.
And you are one of the, I think, the most fortunate persons who has the maximum interactions with Uday. And I am one who has got only the least interactions with Uday. But
Yeah.
what number of interactions that happened to me was a tremendous impact and actually changed my course of actions throughout my life. So sometimes I envy that you have got the richest interactions, opportunity to be with Uday, and also you also supported Uday also. Whatever he wanted to do, you helped him, rather by way of publications also. The entire publications credit goes to TV. That is once I also interacted and he shared this about me, about you.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that I wanted to, the one thing I missed is, you did your PhD with Uday?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That is what I was just wanted
That's
to
a big
confirm.
story, long story. I will tell
the
you the story. The story is, I was registered in Andhra University. When I came to Nihai, I wanted to register. So I told Dr. Parikh, this is one of my dreams. I must do my PhD. Now, I think one of the questions somebody asked, I think they sent me a set of questions which I didn't think I would anyway respond. Dr. Parikh said, I don't want you to register at Delhi University because Delhi University psychology professors are not positively inclined to the work that we are doing. So let us hang on. So I could not register. Nihai was doing the MD program for Delhi University. Delhi University was awarding, but I couldn't. Then Dr. Parikh started looking for an opportunity. Andhra University said, we cannot anymore continue with your PhD because you are now in Delhi. Interestingly, Prabha Ramlin Swami was registered for Andhra University because at that time there was no psychology department. So she was allowed, but I was not allowed. So finally, Dr. Parikh and I think had a visitor, Dr. M.B. Butch from Baroda. He and then Ishwar Bhai Patel was the Vice Chancellor of Sardar Patel University. They had a meeting in Delhi. They visited Nihai, and Dr. Ishwar Bhai Patel said, I don't have a psychology department. I will recognize Nihai as a Center for Advanced Studies in Psychology. Now anyone can apply for PhD. That is when I registered from Nihai with Dr. Parikh as my guide to Sardar Patel University, which I never visited until I got my PhD. I visited Sardar Patel only after I got my PhD. So it was that, and the PhD thesis happens to be, I had to choose something in the field of, I had to mean because I was working with the health administration. I changed it 3 times, the topic. Finally, I settled on medical college environment and its impact on professionalization of medical students. Now, I continued that. Dalpat Sarupriya continued to work on that. Even today, I think the climate study continued. We wrote books on that. I mean, that is again, if you look at our professional life, you pick up something, it sometimes unconsciously it keeps coming back to you. Like entrepreneurship kept coming back all the time. The work I had done was, of course, achievement motivation training. I evaluated the Gujarat experience.
Yes.
After that, it went on coming back to me. So some of the things that you do, like HRD, kept coming back. So if you do any work with intensity and you get involved in it, it comes back to you. You will
Yeah.
discover at the end of your life a lot of similarities, a lot of things that go on. So these are all the defining kind of moments. So yes, he was my PhD guide. And let me tell you one secret.
Yes.
I think giving the topic and asking me, Venkatesh, you do your research on this, I approve it. The only time when Dr. Parikh and I had any connection with my PhD was when he corrected my draft. It was not required because it was, he corrected my draft, PhD draft. I mean, I would only tell him that this is how I want to study the organizational climate. He says, fine. I want to use Cantrell and Twist technique, which I got from Somnath Chattopadhyay. That is also
Yes.
fine. I want to study values, which come from my review. Anything I would do, I would talk to him, he would listen to me, and he would approve it. If you do your work, I think that is where Tusharika started by saying, if giving is the best way of getting. When you do hard work, when you realize, then I think you get it back. And then a good guide will immediately tell you, I have learned as much from you as you are learning from me. So it's nice for me to know this. And that is Dr. Parikh's characteristic.
Yes.
You never feel that he is learning from you. You don't have to, but I think by listening, he is learning, he is guiding, he is mentoring. I think, and he is respecting you. That is the most important kind of quality.
Very much with you, TV. Actually, that is my experience of Uday.
Yeah.
Actually, the unique thing that he had a quality is that he speaks very less, only in few words or sentences. He put you where you had to be. Actually, that was the unique thing that we find. In my own career, I think the 5 places that I climbed, actually, all those were behind Uday Parikh. But I was never with Uday Parikh in direct interactions. But always I was getting this feedback from various sources that it is Uday Parikh who referred you for this very post. I think one of them you might be remembering because you are also party of that. Your 3rd book, Handbook of Entrepreneurship Development. While you were preparing that, I was told that even during that very period, a seminar was conducted by IIM Ahmedabad, in which I also participated. And I was not knowing that I am participating it for the purpose of selection of some other post. And this was Uday Parikh, and probably you were also aware about it, probably. And then my second questions about you was that your work in entrepreneurship area, particularly the motivational aspect of that, was tremendous impact. And one day he just referred to me, you work in the entrepreneurship field, but for implementation and policy formulations. So specific directions for me. I have used my soldiering my responsibility of launching entrepreneurship as a national movement in India. Actually, I am very thankful, or I have used very fluently your work, which has made me go deep and create impact in the field of entrepreneurship development, because my concern was entrepreneurship development, not only the entrepreneurial motivations. Part of that total development was part of the stimulation part of the motivation part of that, in which I am totally dependent on you, or your work has actually, which has helped me in implementing and making the program universally, at least in India, very common. I think the best thing that has happened is that the India has the maximum number of trained entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
This is a world record actually. We have trained people, and part of the entire training, 1/3 of that was the motivational aspect, in which your contributions has been the maximum. I was just trying to tell about this. You left actually entrepreneurship. Only in the academic field you did that, but I think you were not very much associated later on in development of entrepreneurship, but only that portions, that stimulation and motivation part was there. But where from it came, because the Uday, I've never seen, he has associated you in Malaysia, in there for entrepreneurship development.
Yeah. Actually, Dr. Kauri, there are some very interesting things. One is my exposure to IIM Ahmedabad was actually to evaluate the Gujarat Entrepreneurship Development
I
Program,
understand.
which I did while I was at Udaipur, actually, which I came. But then I continued as soon as I joined IIM Ahmedabad. And the research design, it was a consulting come research project, was very interesting, where we evaluated behavioral science interventions on a group of people who had behavioral science intervention versus those who didn't have. That led to my developing almost about 15 to 20 case studies of small-scale entrepreneurs.
Yes, I
And
know,
also
yeah.
come up with a new idea called entrepreneurial movement, which was entirely, and that is when we wrote this book. Then I happened to visit you see, actually somebody from East West Center Hawaii came to IIM Ahmedabad, and they were
Yes.
looking for IIM to nominate somebody to attend a workshop. So I was too junior at the time. I just joined in 73, 74. This person by name one Richard Morse came, and Director Institute nominated one Gopinath. But I think the chaps were clear that they want to have me because they heard my evaluation part. Then I went to Hawaii. That is where I met the Malaysians. We created a body called National Entrepreneurial Research and first in Endeavor, Entrepreneurial Development Association. Then I think the Malaysians, I think, were very serious. Mahathir at the time was Deputy Prime Minister. He gave a lot of support for them. That's when they invited Dr. Farhi to be UNDP consultant.
Yes, yes.
So Dr. Farhi went as a UNDP consultant, and then he invited me. It was easy for them to get me. Dr. Parikh was a long term in the sense was there for about 4 or 5 months. I was there for 1 month. We worked with MIDF and others. That's when we wrote this book, Developing Motivation Through Experiencing. Because we taught a group of trainers. That is what we did. It remained with me in the sense that it led to the establishment of EDI. Which, you know, there was a little bit of political part of it. Dr. B.G. Patel was not very sure how much he would want IIM to be involved. Because if he's setting up an institute, IIM will take away all the credit. So he would want the IIM to be kept away as much as possible. So much so, at one point of time, he told me not to use the Gujarat studies and talk about it. Because he
a little bit of that I know that story actually.
But I think EDI was established. I didn't want to get into the political part of it, so I kept myself aloof from EDI. I think I think EDI became a global.
Yes.
So was NISPAD in many ways. NISPAD, many people don't talk about it. EDI has a knack of, I suppose, I don't know what they had done. They were a lot more entrepreneurial than NISPAD was, partly because you were more of a government, close, and you were in Delhi, you must have had that disadvantage. So that is the story of entrepreneurship. So I always, in my life, I always continued entrepreneurship. HRD is a totally different movement. Instruments is a totally different movement. Motivation, because I happen to work with McClellan,
Yes,
listened to, I don't know if you were there in India International Center when McClellan visited.
yes. I was not there.
You were
Actually.
not there. So
So
he
sorry
heard
to come in and interrupt, sir.
yeah. So these are all interesting stories, but we can go
Yes,
on
lot
now.
of things.
Just so I think we have already crossed 5 minutes of your time. I would want, if there is any quick questions, I would be quite happy to give one sentence answers. Otherwise, you can close it. I think your time is up. You said up to 7:15 you can go on, but you're most welcome. I'll not give any more long lectures.
Yeah.
There is no end for this. Mahavir, what do you say? You have any pressing comments to make? Mahavir,
Yeah.
anything you want me to?
I have before MJ comes in, so I have one hand raised.
Yes.
So can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please? Your name is as Real Me. Okay. No worries. So there is another question in the chat box, sir, and it's by Sridhar. I would have loved, if you would have asked this question by himself. So he says that, who were the contemporaries in your early days who shaped and inspired your thoughts and actions?
Say it again. Let me see. Here, can I read it here? The question here in the chat box.
Dr. Rao, can I ask the question, sir?
Repeat it. Is that from Sridhar?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
please.
Yeah, Sridhar, can you repeat it?
Dr. Parekh and yourself, who were the contemporaries who shaped, inspired your thoughts and actions?
Who shaped our thoughts?
Yes, and inspired you those days.
I think, first let me say, I think number one, certainly Dr. Parikh, and both of our thoughts were shaped by a person like Ravi Mathai. I think I must acknowledge that very much, because for 10 years, when I joined IIM Ahmedabad in 73, Dr. Parikh in 72, and Dr. Parikh left in 83 physically and retired in 85. But Ravi Mathai died in 84. Those 10 years I was in IIM, I was working very closely with Ravi Mathai. In fact, working very much, and Uday is an admirer of Ravi, because Uday considered Ravi Mathai is a great institution builder. And we did a lot of work in Javaja, rural Rajasthan. We have done self-renewal lab with the public schools. We worked with Gujarat Agriculture University. I think both of us, if I have to mention one person who impacted both of our thought, is Ravi Mathai. I think to getting impacted by anybody's thought, you should be prepared to be impacted also, no? So that way, Dr. Parikh is a great admirer and learner. He is no less than Ravi, but he always, he interviewed Ravi. He used to be full of praise for him and understand his way of managing the whole thing and so on. So if I have to mention one who has impacted us, it is Ravi Mathai. And certainly Ravi Mathai was impacted by Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, whom I never met. I worked very closely with his family, Dr. Sarabhai's family in Ahmedabad. In some way or other, Mallika was Dr. Parikh's PhD student. And Mallika worked on a PhD topic which I got from David McClellan, studying the psychosocial maturity of people and so on. So certainly, I think Ravi Mathai, but I must also acknowledge the impact of some of the Western scholars. I would, of course, number one, put McClellan, David McClellan, had phenomenal impact. I worked for quite a long time with him. 4 months I was staying with him and worked on translating one of the psychosocial maturity scales. But you are impacted by anyone who read. I think reading is an important habit we should all. I'm sure Dr. Parikh used to read. In fact, I have not read half of anything that he would have read. When I was young, he used to tell me, Venkatesh, you must read and you should conceptualize. I think later years, there is nobody to tell me. I keep reading any good book that I come across. Now people ask me to write forewords. I say it's a good opportunity for me to know the contemporary thinking. So writing forewords is a way of learning about what thought is going on and things like that. So I hope it answers your question.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely. Great insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jasu, am I?
Please.
TV, I think you took my first interview when I wanted to join psychology department at Udaipur University.
Yes.
And I spent at least 45 minutes with you, and you have learned everything about me. And I'm so fortunate to work with you or for 2 years with Uday and yourself. Uday has left in between, that is for better. And what I have, it's become a life. How you मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ, प्रोफेशनली पागल लोगों के साथ काम करने का मौका मिला, जो 8 बजे से रात के 8 बजे स्टूडेंट को समोसा खिलाना, चाय पिलाना, और किस तरह से स्टेटिस्टिक्स को 12 आवर्स और 8 आवर्स तक पढ़ाना. Great job you did with us. And whatever I am today, still remember we directly or not directly talking, but the commitment you have injected in us, all of us, especially I can talk about myself, still continue. You were talking about Uday coming early, then you are coming early. I did the same thing, and I'm doing the same thing today also. And my query is how continuous you are having such kind of energy with several commitment, and so you are so clear and remembering everything. It's a wonderful to talk to you, to live with you. I have relived my life from 71 to today. The interaction I had at IIM Ahmedabad, the interaction I had at your house also in when I was a student, how you have influence, that is the best part of it. Not teaching only, beyond teaching. And how is possible today for professionals like you, what is the message you can give to the professional who are in HRD or who are teaching, how to continue with the same commitment, zeal, and doing everything for. I know how you drop us, Uday, to our residence, how you value our us like a family. That's a great opportunity we had.
Yeah, well, Mahavir, that is nice of you to say all this. When you say all that, I think it speaks quite a lot about you yourself rather than me. Okay, I think there must be a receiver much more than a giver. If the receiver is willing to receive, I think you will find many givers. That is not a problem. But let me, in a maybe in a indirect way, answer what you imply. You know, recently there was this person, I think Narayan Murthy, who made a comment. There should be 70-hour work week. I think soon after, a couple of there was a lot of controversy. Soon after that, there was a 90-hour work week by one S.N. Subramanian of Larsen and Toubro. These are two great institutions. And when they said 70 hours and 90 hours, people were criticizing them, particularly Gen Z was criticizing and saying that what are they thinking of? They have made it, etc., etc. At least a part of Gen Z. My response to this was, I am very surprised that they said 70 and 90 hours. They should have said 168 hours. Because every day has 24 hours and you have 7 days a week. You multiply. Because these hours matter for those who differentiate life and work. For those for whom work is life, life is work. Everything that when you sleep, why are you sleeping? You're sleeping so that you are fresh the next morning. You're getting ready to office because you go and do. So there's 6, 7 hours that you are working. The rest of the time you are preparing to work. Now, preparing to work doesn't mean that you are enjoying every bit of it that is required. So for me, work and life, they are all the same. They are synonymous. You should enjoy life, you should enjoy work. Okay? So when you watch movies, I still remember Dr. Parikh would come back after a week's trip and he has taken 5B questionnaire and his inclusive and affection behavior came low. Inclusive was okay, but affection, wanted affection, expressed affection was very low. And he used to tell us in IIM Ahmedabad He is now going to make it a point that every weekend or every time he returns back from his trip, he would make sure that he would take his entire family out go for a movie or go for some dalvada or go for something or the other and would spend his time. So you teach, you also reflect about it on your own behavior and you start thinking about what is it that I can do and you try to practice it. Life and work, they are all. So when I say 168 hours, all that I am saying is for some of us, it is important to differentiate. Put compartmentalize your life. It's fine with me. There is no problem at all. I want to work only 3 hours in a day, but those 3 hours I will do solid work. What am I going to do rest of the day? Whatever you are going to do it with, I think, full devotion, full consciousness, full involvement. Then you will not differentiate between life and work. For you, life becomes work. Okay, that is where I'm sure most of us will remember Mahatma Gandhi used to say, work is worship. I mean, that is what he used to say. There is no difference, whatever you're doing. We should learn to see life as an integrated whole. Everything we do is related to everything else. That is the way we look at it. So if you ask me for any one secret between either for Dr. Parikh or for me, I think it is life. Like when we were in Indonesia, both of us, we spent months together. For a couple of months, I stayed with Dr. Parikh, both Jaya, Raju, Nandini, all of them. We all stayed in his house. We both go together, we go for picnics together, we take the family along, and we are observing everything. Even if I think our interactions with the driver, we look at him like I think one day it was interesting that we went to fill the petrol in the Jeep, which is USID Jeep, which Dr. Parikh was using. And I saw the fellow not filling the tank, but charging money for full tank. Dr. Parikh paid the full money. And after a little while, I told Dr. Parikh, did you pay for full tank? He said, yeah, I paid for full tank. I said, I don't think he filled the tank. He filled only 3/4 of it or half of it. But the driver told me he filled the tank and then I paid it. I said, no, I think there is something. Let's go back and check. So Dr. Parikh came back to the petrol bunk and asked him, I mean, the broken whatever Indonesian that we have. And that chap said that, why are you asking me now? I am doing it every time you fill petrol here. I only filled this much, but I charge you full because your driver should have told you he has a commission. So that was very interesting. So we were very upset. What is this? Next day, Dr. Parikh went and complained to the Director Health Services. You have given me such a driver who is cheating. And you know what the Director Health Services said? After listening to Dr. Parikh, we were there. He laughed and he said, Dr. Parikh, he laughed and he said that you are getting paid by USAID. How much is this money mean? This is a small amount. Let him enjoy life. That was such an interesting lesson for us about Indonesian culture, what is giving. So later we never took it for granted. That is a culture here. It is called incentive money in Indonesia. So you have to learn to enjoy whatever you see. You are not going to say, no, in my country I am very value driven. This is not allowed and things like that. So I suppose when you start respecting people, you are willing to learn and you treat life as life and work as synonymous. Every event, Mahavir, is an event to learn. So I think we use it to Dr. Parikh used it. I am never accustomed to eat different kinds of food, but you take me wherever we went to a new city outside abroad. You take me. He had all the idea of what kind of restaurant, where what kind of food is served. He would introduce me to all that. And he was very fond of one Pakistani gentleman, one Abdul Latif. He and Abdul Latif would use it to enjoy a lot of other interesting kind of dishes and so on. So that is the respect you have. You don't say you are a Pakistani, I don't want to relate with you. Sorry, none of that kind. I think Ravi Mathai used to say, all of God's children. I think that is always stuck with us. All of God's children. So I think these are all interesting philosophies. When you do that, work life becomes integrated. You enjoy every bit of it, Mahavir. So if you like writing, you write. If you like guiding PhDs like what you are doing, I think that's a wonderful thing. You and you like child labor, I think you work on that and you want to eliminate, you enjoy that, no? And you made a mark. Somebody got a Nobel Prize, you didn't get it, but that's okay, it doesn't matter.
So, sir, we will
Oh,
take
may I
two
ask
more
a question?
questions.
I got a question.
Yeah, please, sir. Please go ahead, Kailash.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Kailash Gupta. I'm TV, sir,
I
known.
am.
Yes, 1971 pass out. And Uday Parikh was in Jaipur, and for many times I met him and visited his home also. But my question is to TV. Just now you said about the value system. Okay, so if you remember, long time ago, you have written an article, I think in the Hindustan Times, value of word. People say something, they promise something, and then they don't implement, or the word is taken so loosely. जैसे आजकल 1 मिनट में एक just wait for 1 minute. 1 minute doesn't mean a sense, or 1 second. So the time value in the present sense, I feel, I mean, I am very obsessed with using the time properly. So I'm wondering how the value is going down and what can we as professionals can do in a society.
Yeah, going down and up, I don't know. I think sometimes we feel that, yeah, I think what you say is right. The population has gone up, and I think respect may be coming down. I think over a period of time, we have become a lot more classificatory, at least some generations. The younger generation is probably not that classificatory and so on. And value for time is an indication of value for knowledge. Knowledge, because the time is how do you use your time? You use your time to acquire knowledge or disseminate knowledge and things of that kind. So if it is value for time is going down, I would type, I'm not very sure if it is really going down. It's a controversial kind of a thing. But I think many of the older generation like us may think, yes, it is going down. People don't value, people waste their time, etc., etc. Because the younger generation are into doing too many things at a time. They discovered new talent. The technology brought in speed and things of that nature. I think the only way we can, at least one of the ways in which we can get people to recognize this is constantly having dialogue with them. I think what we call as a waste of time. You're wasting your time. Like there is somebody in our company, TV Rao, we have recruited some Gen Z fellows. One of the chaps is all the time, every 10 minutes, he has to go out and have a smoke and come back. So you start feeling a little impatient with this. Are you're wasting so much of your time. Why do you have to spend so much of your time? Because, we are not likely to have you like kind of an intern for permanently for this. And you give a feedback and you tell him. Now, if he is a vocal fellow, he will tell you why he is going out, why it has become a habit, how he is struggling to change it, and so on. But if he is not a vocal fellow, he will just keep quiet. Then you don't know what is going on with him. Now, he will have to bear the consequences of whatever happens as a result of it. He may not get a continuation of the job, but he may find somewhere else. At least the feedback will help him. So I think it is our responsibility as seniors to keep communicating to those people, giving our feedback and saying why we consider what we consider as a waste of time. And at the same time, be willing to listen to them, appreciate if there is an appreciable point, but don't give up. I mean, you don't have to get easily convinced. You should not give up. And you say, sorry, I may not agree with you. I think you are still wasting your time. This is not the best way. That is the context in which Narayan Murthy has said what he has said. He said, today youth have phenomenal opportunities. You can make a phenomenal impact. We work for 40 hours a week. If you work for 70 hours a week, the country is going to be different. Your future is going to be different. Everything is going to be different. That is what he has said. But 70% of the people didn't like this comment. Now, it doesn't mean that you change now. You say, okay, now you don't like it, I will now withdraw. Sorry, no, you don't have to withdraw. You can stick to your comment and say, I will explain to you the reason why I'm saying this. So is S.N. Subramaniam. He can also say 90 hours, what did he say? And so on. So my view of this is that we have to constantly share, educate, dialogue, listen, and be willing to change. That's what I think, Kailash.
My point was, I am fed up with like advocates or technicians or who come to maintenance or so many people they give that they will come this time and
Yeah.
I have to wait and I have to waste and
Yeah.
every time they keep on changing. So I'm in my lot. I'm not trying to recruit an executive assistant, which I'm not getting. But so most of the time is wasted by people promising something and then not sticking to it. That is my question.
Yeah, that's an important thing. I think the gap sometimes may be increasing. I think even when, number one, I would say if you have a discipline, if you have values, you state it upfront and be strict about it. You have to practice it. If you say you have to come at 9 o'clock, sorry, I am not going to, 1 day, 2 days I can, but non-negotiable. I think you have to state your non-negotiable values and be strict about it. Otherwise, what happens is your entire reliability goes down, trust on you goes down, and people start. So that is important. Discipline, values, state them, follow them. In fact, I put highest value on integrity. Honor your commitment. Under no circumstances should you, I think, deviate from your commitment. That's an important value. And that is one thing Dr. Parikh always stood for. Only Dr. Parikh. I am Ahmedabad teaches you that. 9 o'clock, doors are shut. If you don't come, I think you don't come. That's your. Somebody may say, okay, 5 minutes, I will allow you. Okay, after that, some other may have other way of taking it out on the student. But I think it is value is very clear. So discipline is non-negotiable. Values are integrity is non-negotiable. Honoring commitments is non-negotiable. That is where you build trust. That is a question today I have. And my problem is, I am not very sure if our top level leaders, I'm not talking of institutions, I'm talking even at much higher level, are they setting the right example? I don't know. This is a big question mark. So I feel we are on to a course as a nation, which I am not very sure is going to be healthy in future on these aspects. But there are other aspects where also positive side of it, you honor your commitments, whatever I think you promised you have done. There are people who are doing that, I think. Okay. And be conscious about the poor and things of that kind. So in one stroke, you can't say, I mean, there are people who maintain both these kind of things and so on. So I think I'm one of those stand for values.
Yeah.
I'll stop this, Jasu. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
sure, sir.
We can go
So,
on and on.
I think,
I hope this is of some use to you.
Yes,
1
thank
hour,
you.
1.5 hours is not enough to tell stories.
I know, sir. We'll call you again. And sir, just before I close, I have one request from Shushma. If she wants to say, a minute or so, if she wants to take. Shushma, is there?
She lived with Dr. Parikh much more than any of us.
Shushma, you have to unmute yourself.
Shushma, are you there?
I think I can see her.
She is muted.
I think she is unmuted. Anyway, sir, so I think, some technical glitch. So I think, it's time now. So participants, with this, we bring this session to an end, extending our heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. Uday Parikh and Dr. TV Rao for his profound insights and inspiring perspective. His life lessons enable us with ideas to act and evolve. Our organizing team strives to stay humble, deliver pragmatic solutions through storytelling. And thank you for being for today's session. Stay inspired. See you soon with another living legend signing off for the day. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for listening very patiently, and thanks for organizing this. All the best for everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.